So, I mean, when you look at, teams like the Patriots, the Colts, the Ravens, they have guys signed already. Is that just taking somebody's word for it, or were they able to somehow get evaluations through on this?
Yeah, I mean, you can come to an agreement, terms. I mean, and with all rookies, there's that. It's all pretty much, it's they add up the number of picks you have. I mean, they have a pool of money, the league does, for every pick. So if you've got 14 picks like the Patriots might, they know exactly what each pick is slotted, a certain amount of dollars. You can debate over length of contract and all that kind of crap, but they know they have a pool of money, each team does, after they, make all their draft picks to divide up. So pretty much you know what you're going to get. I think these guys, they may have agreed, but it's not a deal till they have the physical. They can't get any money till they get their physical, pass the physical. So, a lot of people are like, what's the rush?
Right. And do you anticipate, I mean, not to speak for every guy in every situation, but, once this gets lifted and once they can get doctors, I mean, is everything just going to fall in line? I mean, it's slotted. So would you anticipate everything kind of falling in line once they get the go-ahead?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I mean, they're still the Bengals coaches might come back Monday, June 1st, or maybe June 8th, but not players. So they're doing it in phases. They had either half your employees or 75 max could come in, no coaches, no players. Second phase is now coaches are going to start to come into the building. They'll only be there a couple of weeks because players, in my opinion, they're not going to show up till July, till training camp.
But do you think, not knowing, but do you think that, as far as Burrow is concerned and that the deal is all but signed in terms of physical, or do you think there is still room for negotiation? I guess, there's obviously the guaranteed money is maybe, what they may bicker over at all.
Yeah, it's terms and conditions more than, raw dollars. It's how it's going to be paid, the terms and conditions stuff. But just like anything, just like Dak Prescott's deal, July 15th is it until there's a deadline. Right now it's like, what's the rush? We can't get the money. Can't have a physical can't get the money till we have a physical. There's no big sense of urgency. I think that's why it's so widespread. Heck, they don't even know, honestly, until they're pretty sure that they are going to go to training camp and everything. I think it's not as big a front burner as it might be other years.
Last year Damian Willis went undrafted and started week 1 for the Bengals, and that was, ballyhooed as, a near impossibility for that to happen. This year it may be even tougher, almost near impossible for an undrafted rookie to potentially take a step forward in training camp. Is this the worst year to be an undrafted rookie in terms of they may not have 90 guys in camp, and that's kind of up in the air if you're a guy sitting on the sidelines?
Yeah, I mean, I really think that there's going to be a whole lot of teams that probably won't have 90 players, in training camp this year, because what kind of time are you going to have to make any evaluations on these guys? When you go through OTAs and that sort of thing, particularly when the rookies and college free agents and draft picks are going against veteran players, that's when you can get good stuff on tape to evaluate a guy. Without these OTAs and mini camps and things like that, where they're getting all these reps against veteran players to see if they can play in the league or not, it's tough. It's tough dynamic. So you almost have to focus on, instead of 90 guys, you have to focus on maybe 60, 65 guys, to get down to the final 53 because you don't have much time. So it's a tough year. There's no doubt it's all these Major League Baseball, all these prospects that we're going to be drafted in Major League Baseball. It's down to 5 rounds, I think,
right,
from 20-something normal years. I mean, same thing for them. I mean, it's a tough year. Tough year for any kid really coming out of college trying to make it in the next level for sure.
Do you anticipate there being a potential bottleneck next year with guys who stay in shape, maybe aren't in a camp this year, and then you fold in all the 2021 undrafted guys with some guys who still don't want to give up on their dream?
Yeah, and you look at it, the XFL went into bankruptcy, and there are people bidding about trying to get that league established. And when you look at it, if you're a potential bidder for the XFL and you have all these guys that didn't get a fair opportunity in the NFL, you may have a pretty good pool of players. You can somehow put it together, and reinvigorate the XFL, Canadian Football League. I mean, guys are going to be trying to find jobs anywhere they can find them to continue their professional career for sure.
I'll leave you with this. Optimistic that we get all the preseason games in and the season starts on time at this point.
I'm not sure about all the preseason games. I think there will be preseason games. And I can honestly say, this reminds me of, takes me back to the good old days when we didn't have mini camps and OTAs. We had after I got drafted, we had a 4-day camp. And it was with rookies and veteran players. And then we didn't have anything else till we went to training camp. Now, granted, training camp was 9 weeks long, over 2 months. There were 6 preseason games. We were there forever. So everybody, basically, a lot of veteran guys every year would play themselves into shape. This era of the football, you don't have to have off-season jobs and all that sort of thing. Guys are in shape year-round. 2011, when A.J. Green and Andy Dalton were rookies, they didn't have any OTAs. They didn't have any mini camp. Showed up to training camp, played the preseason, went into the regular season, went 9-7, went into the playoffs with a rookie quarterback and a rookie wide receiver. So, I mean, it's happened. And the way these guys do keep themselves in shape, the amount of money that's involved to keep themselves in shape, the incentive, I think it's going to be fine. I think they're going to have at least 2 preseason games, I would think, though, and it won't be one of these deals where I think veteran players are going to play a little bit more maybe in both of the preseason games instead of, just playing in one and then not playing at all in the other. If they only play a couple of them, it'll have some, tweaks to it and that sort of thing. But I really do feel that I would not think that we're going to see players, though, until July, until training camp. May have coaches down at the stadium at some point in time in June for a couple of weeks, and then they'll, take off and have their vacation that they normally have in July and show up toward the end of the month for training camp. Maybe they'll make training camp a little bit longer, because of the fact that there were, with COVID-19 and the coronavirus pandemic, it took away OTAs and mini camps and all that. But, then be like baseball. I can see the players and the owners and the Players Association. Wait a minute, you can't lengthen training camp. What's the deal? Health of the players? You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. So I'm not sure that they'd even do that. They'd probably just have, maybe 2 preseason games, and go from there and just get into the regular season.